Chosen one, before the noise of this world pulls your attention away again, pause here for a moment, because something quiet has already begun shifting around your life. And the strange part is, you have felt it without fully understanding why. There has been this unexplainable feeling lately, has not there? Like certain places no longer fit your spirit the way they once did. Like rooms you used to feel comfortable in now feel temporary. Even the silence around you has changed. You notice little things more deeply now, the way evening light enters your window. Something important is waiting for you. If something in these words is already landing, pause for a moment and press the like button, not out of habit, but as a quiet signal that your spirit is open to what is being revealed. Do not skip this part, because what is unfolding is far more personal than you realize. There is a person connected to your future who has already started dreaming about a life beside you long before you understood they existed. Not in a dramatic way, not loudly, but quietly, consistently. You may not see their face clearly yet. You may not know their name, but their energy has begun moving toward yours in ways that cannot be rushed anymore. The path between you is no longer standing still, and what makes this different from the disappointments you survived before is that this person does not see you as temporary. Listen carefully to that. They do not look at you with hesitation hidden behind attraction. They do not study you searching for flaws to escape from later. Type "I feel it" in the comments if something in these words is confirming what your spirit has quietly been sensing. The one approaching your future carries something softer, steadier, calmer. They look at people differently because they have also known loneliness. They understand what it feels like to give too much love to the wrong places and receive confusion in return. That is why when they finally recognize your spirit, something inside them becomes still for the first time in a very long while. But here is what you do not know yet. This person has already been changing their life without realizing they are preparing for you. Small decisions, quiet adjustments, unexpected endings, delayed plans, moments where they suddenly felt guided away from certain people, certain environments, certain habits. At the time, none of it made sense to them, yet every shift has been slowly clearing space for the life you will eventually build together. If this message is finding you at the right moment, subscribe right now and turn on every notification. Your spirit led you here. Do not let the algorithm decide if you come back. Stay till the end, because the description of this person is about to become clearer. And when it does, something in your heart may recognize them before your mind can explain why. This person is not loud in the way the world celebrates loudness. They are not constantly trying to prove themselves to everyone around them. In fact, many people misunderstand them because they carry depth quietly. They observe more than they speak. They listen carefully when someone talks. They remember details most people forget. And strangely, they think about conversations long after they end. They replay moments in their mind, wondering if they could have made someone feel more understood. That is the kind of heart they carry. Someone listening to this right now still expects every person who approaches them to eventually reveal a hidden reason to leave. This space exists to reach them. If this word has been doing something in you today, please support this mission through the link in the pinned comment below, whether by buying a coffee, making a donation, or becoming a member of this community. Give from wherever your heart says yes. There is also something unexpectedly protective about them. Not controlling, not possessive, just deeply attentive. When they care about someone, they begin noticing things others ignore. Your tired voice, your silence. When something hurts you, the difference between your real smile and the one you used to hide exhaustion. This person notices emotional shifts quickly because they have spent years learning how to survive emotionally themselves. And because of that, they become incredibly gentle with the people they truly love. You may wonder why your spirit has felt restless recently, why thoughts about change keep appearing. Why you sometimes imagine leaving everything familiar behind and starting over somewhere peaceful, somewhere softer. The answer is hidden inside a future that is slowly pulling you toward itself. There is movement happening around your destiny now. Emotional movement, spiritual movement, even physical movement. A transition, a relocation of energy before it becomes a relocation of life. Type 444. If you have been feeling this shift lately, the angels are watching this moment with you. And the strange thing is, your future partner has been feeling it too. There are nights when they stare at the ceiling, wondering why they suddenly crave a different kind of life than the one they once chased. Places that once excited them now feel empty. People they used to impress no longer matter the same way. They have started longing for simplicity, peace. A home that feels emotionally safe instead of visually perfect. They are beginning to understand that real love is not found inside chaos or performance. It is found inside quiet consistency, shared mornings, honest conversations, comfortable silence, someone reaching for your hand without needing a reason. That is the kind of life they secretly want with you. And yes, there is moving involved. Not just emotionally, physically too. A new environment appears around this connection, a different atmosphere, different routines, a place where your nervous system finally begins relaxing instead of constantly preparing for disappointment. But this transition does not happen suddenly. It unfolds step by step, almost like life carefully rearranging itself around the two of you so neither heart breaks under the weight of change. Something else needs to be said here. This person carries emotional maturity that was earned through pain, not perfection. They have made mistakes before, trusted the wrong people before, stayed too long in situations that drained them before. But instead of becoming cold, they became wiser, softer in the right ways, more intentional, more careful with hearts. That is why when they finally love you, it will not feel confusing. It will feel peaceful. And after everything you have experienced, peace may feel unfamiliar at first. You are not being led towards someone who wants to control your light. You are being led towards someone who feels relieved by your presence. Someone who sees your kindness as something rare instead of something to exploit. Someone who secretly admires the way you keep loving even after disappointment tried to harden you. And there is one detail about this person that almost nobody notices immediately. They carry hidden sadness behind their calmness. Not because they are broken, but because they have spent so much time feeling emotionally misunderstood. They laugh, they function, they appear fine, yet deep down, they have always hoped someone would finally understand the parts of them they struggle to explain. When they meet you, that longing slowly begins disappearing. For the first time, they feel emotionally recognized. Do you understand how rare that is? Not surface attraction, not temporary excitement, recognition. The kind where two people look at each other and silently realize, you feel familiar to my soul. Type I receive it in the comments right now. Not as a ritual, as the moment your spirit stops arguing with what is already moving toward you. And when this realization fully arrives between you both, movement begins accelerating. Decisions happen faster, distance feels harder to tolerate. Future conversations become more serious. The idea of building a shared life stops feeling impossible and starts feeling natural. There will be moments where you both sit quietly together and suddenly realize how strange it is that two people who once lived completely separate lives somehow became the answer to each other's loneliness. But wait, because there is still something you have not fully seen yet. This person has been watching relationships fail around them for years. Watching people choose convenience over loyalty. Watching connections collapse because nobody wanted to communicate honestly anymore. And because of this, they made a silent promise to themselves long ago that if they ever found something real, they would protect it with everything in them. That promise matters more than you know, because when difficulties eventually appear, and every real relationship faces moments of difficulty, this person does not immediately run. They stay. They talk. They try. They care enough to repair instead of escape. And in this generation where so many people disappear the moment things become emotionally complicated, that kind of devotion feels almost unbelievable. Yet it is real, and slowly, very slowly, your life is being aligned with theirs. There will come a moment soon where something ordinary suddenly feels strangely significant. A conversation, a message, a coincidence that feels too perfectly timed. And when it happens, your spirit will feel it first. A quiet recognition, like your soul whispering, "Pay attention. This matters." Do not rush away from this feeling when it arrives. Because the truth is, you are not moving toward emptiness anymore. You are moving toward a life where love finally feels safe enough to unpack your heart completely. And the next part of this story reveals something even deeper about the person waiting for you. Something hidden beneath their calm exterior that almost nobody has ever truly understood. There is something almost unbelievable about the way this connection continues forming behind the scenes. Because while you have been questioning certain delays in your life, wondering why some doors closed so suddenly, wondering why certain people disappeared without explanation, another story has quietly been unfolding at the exact same time. And the person connected to your future has been walking through their own emotional preparation without realizing every step was bringing them closer to you. Nothing about this meeting is careless. Every lesson, every goodbye, every lonely night has been shaping two hearts that are finally becoming ready to recognize each other fully. But listen carefully now, because this part matters more than you think. The person who is moving toward you carries an unusual calmness when they truly love someone. Not a cold calmness, not distance. It is more like the kind of peace people feel when they stop searching because they finally found what feels real. Around most people, they stay emotionally guarded. They laugh, they talk, they act normal, but internally, they hold back pieces of themselves. Yet with you, something changes naturally. Their walls lower without force. Their mind quiets. Even their breathing feels different around you. And they may not know how to explain that at first. You will notice it in small moments before anything is spoken clearly. The way they look at you when you are distracted, the way their attention stays on you even in crowded places, the way they remember things you casually mentioned weeks earlier, the way their energy softens whenever you seem emotionally tired. This person loves through details. And what makes this even more powerful is that they do not fully realize how deeply they are already becoming attached to your future together. Somewhere inside them, they have begun imagining ordinary things with you without even noticing it. Grocery shopping together, quiet evenings, shared routines, walking through unfamiliar streets side by side in a new place neither of you once called home. They are not obsessed with fantasy. They are drawn toward emotional stability, toward building something lasting. That is why this connection grows differently than the shallow situations you experienced before. This one grows slowly but deeply. And yes, the move you keep sensing around your life is connected to emotional transformation too. Because sometimes people cannot become who they are meant to become in the same environment where they learn to survive. Certain places carry old versions of you, old fears, old sadness, old limitations. The shift approaching your life is not punishment for your past. It is separation from it. Something important is waiting for you beyond what currently feels familiar. For the first time in a long time, your path is no longer leading toward another lesson disguised as love. It is leading toward partnership. Keeping this space alive means someone can return to this message 6 months from now, in a different season of their life, and finally understand what they could not receive the first time they heard it. It means the person still in the middle of lessons, not yet at partnership, has somewhere to come back to when the shift finally happens. If that kind of space matters to you, please support this work through the link in the description and the pinned comment below, whether by making a donation to sow a seed or becoming a member of this community. The link is pinned. The link is 77 if you trust what is moving to, because there is another layer to this person that few people ever get close enough to discover. They are secretly more emotional than they appear. Very few people know this about them because they learned early in life how to hide vulnerability behind composure. They became the strong one, the reliable one, the calm one. But deep inside, they feel things intensely. Music affects them deeply. Certain memories stay with them for years. They replay emotional moments privately, long after everyone else has forgotten them. And sometimes, when nobody is around, they wonder whether anyone will ever truly understand the depth they keep hidden. That is why your connection affects them so strongly. Because with you, they stop feeling emotionally invisible. And there is another truth your spirit needs to hear tonight. This person has prayed for love differently than most people do. They did not ask for perfection. They did not ask for endless excitement. They asked for someone genuine, someone emotionally safe, someone who would stay honest even when life became difficult, someone whose presence feels peaceful instead of draining. Without realizing it, they have been describing you in their quietest moments. Can you feel how close this energy is becoming now? Even your timing is beginning to change. You may have noticed yourself becoming more selective recently, less interested in temporary attention, more aware of emotional inconsistency, more protective of your peace. That is not accidental. Your heart is preparing itself for something more meaningful than what you settled for before. You are no longer being shaped for confusion. You are being shaped for alignment, and this future partner, they are changing too. Lately, they have started distancing themselves from anything that feels emotionally performative. Fake conversations exhaust them now. Shallow connections feel empty. They crave authenticity more than ever before. Even if they cannot fully explain why, part of them senses that someone important is approaching their life. And because of that, their spirit has become quieter, more intentional, more emotionally aware. There will come a moment where the two of you begin speaking longer than expected. One conversation turns into another. Hours disappear unexpectedly, and afterward, both of you sit alone, wondering why something about the interaction felt strangely comforting, not overwhelming, not chaotic, just deeply familiar. That feeling is important. Do not ignore the calmness of real connection simply because you became used to emotional extremes in the past. Real love often arrives quietly at first, not through confusion, not through games, not through emotional instability, but through recognition. And the person connected to your future carries a loyalty that becomes stronger the more emotionally safe they feel with someone. Once they trust you fully, they become deeply committed, protective in quiet ways, consistent in small ways. The type of person who checks whether you arrived home safely. The type who notices when your energy changes before you even mention anything. The type who thinks about your comfort naturally. This is why the future around you feels different now. Because for the first time in a long time, your path is no longer leading toward another lesson disguised as love. Partnership restores you. Type 1111, if you are ready to stop explaining yourself to people who were never meant to understand you. And even now, while you are listening to these words, pieces of your future are slowly arranging themselves beyond your current view. A delayed conversation, a missed opportunity that was actually protection, a sudden shift in timing that once frustrated you, but later will make perfect sense. One day you will look back and realize life was not ignoring your heart. It was repositioning it. The move ahead of you is not only about location, it is about emotional atmosphere. About finally existing somewhere your spirit can breathe again. And the person beside you during that chapter, they will not make you feel alone while standing next to them. That matters more than appearances ever could. But there is still something hidden beneath this connection that has not revealed itself yet. Something this person has never confessed openly to anyone before. A fear they carry quietly. A fear connected directly to losing people they truly love. And once that truth surfaces, everything between you begins changing faster than either of you expected. A strange silence has been following this connection lately. Not the kind that creates distance, but the kind that appears right before something life-changing finally reveals itself. Tiny emotional flashes. Unexplained thoughts about leaving your current environment behind. Sudden visions of a peaceful home you have never seen before. Even the way you imagine your future has begun changing. It no longer feels centered around proving yourself to people who never truly valued your heart. Now your spirit keeps drifting toward comfort, loyalty, stability, and someone whose presence feels like rest after a very long emotional journey. That shift inside you is important, because the person moving toward your life has also reached a point where appearances no longer impress them the way they once did. They have become deeply tired of temporary connections disguised as meaningful ones. Tired of people who speak beautifully but disappear during difficult moments. Tired of carrying emotional weight alone, while pretending everything is fine. And because of that exhaustion, they became careful with their heart. Extremely careful. This is the fear they rarely confess. They are afraid of loving deeply and still being left behind. Not because they are weak, not because they are insecure, but because they have experienced emotional abandonment in ways that changed them quietly. Someone once made them feel replaceable. Someone once made them question whether genuine love could survive honesty. Since then, part of them has protected their emotions behind calmness and patience. Most people never notice this hidden wound because they smile through it so naturally, but you will notice not immediately. At first, they will appear composed, grounded, emotionally balanced. Yet the closer you become, the more you will recognize the tenderness hidden underneath their strength. There will be moments where they hesitate before opening up fully. Moments where they overthink whether they are too much emotionally. Moments where they become quiet after feeling deeply connected to you, because part of them fears losing what feels meaningful again. And this is where your connection changes everything, because instead of making them feel emotionally unsafe, your energy slowly teaches them that love does not always disappear when vulnerability appears. That honesty can exist without punishment. That emotional closeness does not always lead to heartbreak. Stay till the end, because this realization becomes one of the most healing parts of your future together. There is also something beautifully unexpected about the way this person handles affection. They are not performative with it. They do not constantly seek attention from the world. In fact, some people underestimate how deeply they love, because their love language exists in quieter actions. But once you understand them, you realize how intentional they truly are. They show love by remembering, by staying, by noticing, by protecting peace, instead of creating emotional chaos. And one day, during an ordinary moment that neither of you planned, you will suddenly realize how naturally your lives have started intertwining. Their belongings beside yours, shared routines forming without effort, conversations about future plans happening casually instead of hypothetically. Even the idea of moving together will stop feeling distant and begin feeling strangely inevitable, not rushed, not forced, just right. The environment surrounding your future together feels calmer than what you are used to. Softer lighting, slower mornings, more emotional safety, less survival mode. It almost feels as if both of you were exhausted from carrying separate storms for too long and finally found shelter inside the same place. That is why this upcoming chapter carries such deep emotional significance, because you are not just finding love, you are finding relief. Type 222 to claim what is already being prepared for you. And there is one detail about your future partner that will surprise you even more as time passes. They secretly admire your resilience far more than they openly admit. They notice how much you survived emotionally without becoming cruel. They notice how you continue showing kindness despite disappointment. They notice the exhaustion behind your strength. And sometimes when they look at you quietly, they feel overwhelmed by how much they want to protect your peace. Not out of ownership, out of care, real care. The kind built slowly through emotional understanding. This person also carries dreams they rarely tell people about. A different lifestyle, a quieter life, a home that feels emotionally warm instead of emotionally tense. They imagine laughter in kitchens late at night, calm weekends, small traditions, shared silence without awkwardness. They crave emotional intimacy more than material perfection now, and the reason this matters is because your desires have slowly started matching theirs without either of you realizing it. Two separate hearts learning the same lesson at the same time. That peace matters more than performance. That consistency matters more than intensity. That genuine connection matters more than endless excitement. And once your lives finally intersect fully, both of you begin changing in ways that feel almost impossible to explain to outsiders. People will notice your energy becoming lighter, your nervous system calmer, your smile more genuine. Because when someone finally loves you correctly, your entire spirit responds differently. But do not assume this connection arrives without emotional depth. This relationship transforms both of you precisely because it touches the parts of yourselves you stopped showing the world long ago. The hidden fears, the silent loneliness, the exhaustion from pretending not to care. This person will slowly begin confessing truths they never intended to say out loud. Stories from their past, moments where they felt emotionally lost, nights where they questioned whether real love even existed anymore. And when they finally trust you enough to reveal those pieces of themselves, something sacred begins forming between you both. A love built on emotional honesty instead of emotional performance. And strangely, the move connected to your future becomes symbolic of that transformation too. Because the place you are moving toward does not simply represent distance from your old environment. It represents distance from old emotional versions of yourself, versions shaped by fear, inconsistency, and survival. Something gentler is waiting ahead now, something calmer, something emotionally real. There will be nights where you both sit together in silence and suddenly feel overwhelmed by how different this connection feels from everything before it. No constant anxiety, no emotional guessing games, no exhausting confusion. Just presence, safety, warmth. And in one unforgettable moment, your future partner is going to admit something they have been carrying privately for a very long time. Something they realized about you far earlier than they expected. Something that completely changes the emotional direction of your connection from that day forward. There will be a moment that seems completely ordinary at first. So ordinary that neither of you immediately understands why it feels unforgettable. Maybe it happens during a late-night conversation when exhaustion finally lowers every emotional wall. Maybe it happens while sitting beside each other in peaceful silence. Maybe it happens during a drive with soft music in the background and the world outside slowly fading away. But suddenly, without planning to say it, this person looks at you differently than before. Not casually, not curiously, deeply. As if something inside them has finally stopped running. And in that moment, they realize a truth that quietly changes everything between you. You feel like home to them, not excitement that disappears after a few weeks, not attraction built on uncertainty, not temporary comfort. Home, the kind of feeling they secretly believed no longer existed. That realization unsettles them at first because it arrives more intensely than they expected. They begin noticing how naturally they picture you in every future thought. Every plan starts including you without effort. They imagine cities with you, morning routines with you, furniture choices with you, shared laughter in unfamiliar places. Even stressful moments feel easier to imagine if you are beside them. And what surprises them most is not the intensity of these feelings. It is the peace attached to them. Because for the first time in years, love does not feel dangerous to them anymore. It feels safe. If something in what you just heard did not feel like a prediction, but like a permission to stop bracing, to stop expecting the moment everything good eventually turns, please support this mission through the link in the description and the pinned comment below. Whether by buying a coffee, making a donation, or becoming a member of this community, the link is pinned. Give from the place that just exhaled for the first time in a very long while. Something important is waiting for you inside this chapter of your life. And it is not just romance. It is emotional restoration. The kind that reaches places inside you both that words alone cannot heal. This person begins opening up more after that realization. Slowly at first, careful pieces of themselves. They start telling you things they usually keep hidden from people. Their private worries, their quiet insecurities, the moments that shape them emotionally. And as they speak, there is this strange disbelief in their eyes, because every time they reveal something vulnerable and you stay instead of pulling away, another layer of fear disappears from their heart. You may not fully understand how healing your presence becomes for them, and they become healing for you too, because this relationship carries something your past connections struggled to give you consistently: emotional steadiness. Not perfection. Steadiness. The ability to remain emotionally present even during difficult days. The ability to communicate instead of disappear. The ability to choose each other repeatedly, not just when life feels easy. And the closer this connection grows, the more both of you begin craving a different environment entirely. A quieter chapter, a fresh atmosphere untouched by old emotional memories. The idea of moving together no longer feels unrealistic. In fact, it begins feeling necessary for the future both of you are slowly building. But here is the part nobody around you fully sees. The move itself becomes deeply symbolic, because neither of you are only leaving behind physical places. You are leaving behind survival versions of yourselves. The version of you that constantly expected disappointment, the version of them that feared emotional abandonment, the versions built from heartbreak, uncertainty, and emotional exhaustion. And as this transition unfolds, both of you begin noticing subtle but powerful changes. You sleep more peacefully, you laugh more naturally, you stop overanalyzing every interaction. Love begins feeling lighter instead of emotionally complicated. That is when you realize how much heaviness you carried before this person entered your life. Stay till the end, because there is another truth about your future partner that makes this connection even more meaningful. They are incredibly patient with the people they genuinely love. Not passive, not emotionally unavailable patient. They understand healing takes time. They understand trust grows gradually. And because of that, they never try to force your heart open faster than it is ready. They create safety first, consistency first, understanding first. That patience becomes one of the strongest foundations of your future together. And strangely, this calmness around them begins changing your own energy too. You stop feeling the need to prove your worth constantly. You stop feeling anxious over silence. You stop questioning whether affection is temporary, because this person's love feels grounded in intention rather than impulse. There will be evenings where both of you sit together after long days, and suddenly you realize something almost unbelievable. Peace was what your heart wanted all along. Not chaos disguised as passion, not emotional highs followed by painful distance. Just someone who stays emotionally present beside you. Someone who chooses honesty over confusion. Someone who makes ordinary life feel emotionally meaningful. And this future partner of yours, they notice every little thing about you more deeply than they say out loud. The way your expression changes when you are worried. The way your voice softens when you feel emotionally safe. The habits you do unconsciously when you are tired. They pay attention because loving you becomes one of the most natural things they have ever experienced. That is why this upcoming chapter feels spiritually different from your past. Nothing about it feels forced. It unfolds naturally, almost as if life itself slowly guides the two of you toward the same doorway at the exact right time. And once that doorway fully opens, something beautiful begins happening. Both of you stop feeling emotionally alone in the world, not because loneliness magically disappears forever, but because you finally have someone willing to walk through life honestly beside you. Someone who understands your silence without demanding explanations every moment. Someone who notices when your energy changes and responds with care instead of distance. That kind of connection changes people quietly. And one night, after everything between you has deepened beyond surface attraction, your future partner is going to confess something that has been growing inside them for a very long time. A realization so personal, so emotionally raw, that once they finally say it aloud, neither of your lives will ever feel the same again. If this message found you at the right moment, press the like button right now. Send this to someone whose heart you know is quietly waiting for what you just heard. And tell me in the comments what part of this landed deepest for you today. Write it out. What you name out loud, you begin moving toward.